It's 3 a.m. again. You were tired when you went to bed. You did everything right. And now you're wide awake with thoughts that won't stop, feelings you can't place, or a restless sense that something is happening that your sleeping brain can't ignore. If this is a pattern for you, you're not alone. And there's a reason why it keeps happening. The 3 a.m. waking was one of the most consistent and disorienting parts of my own awakening. I'd fall asleep fine and then find myself suddenly completely awake in the middle of the night. Not anxious, just awake. Alert in a way that felt significant rather than random. It took me a while to understand that my system was doing real work during these hours. That didn't make it any less exhausting, but it did make it a little less scary. So let's talk about why empaths struggle with sleep. Because there's a few things that are happening simultaneously. First, you've spent the entire day absorbing and processing emotional and energetic input. Your nervous system, which is already running hotter than average, doesn't get an off switch the moment that you lie down. It's still processing, still sorting through what it picked up, still trying to discharge what it absorbed. Second, the boundary between your field and the collective field is thinnest at night. This is especially true for empaths who are in the middle of their spiritual awakening. The veils that separate different dimensions of consciousness thin during those late night hours, which can mean more information coming through, more sensitivity to the collective emotional field, and more psychic processing that's happening. Third, the quietness of night removes all those daytime distractions that were keeping you from feeling what you absorbed. The noise, the busyness, the constant doing, all of it falls away, and suddenly everything you've been carrying rises to the surface. So what is this whole 3 a.m. waking all about? That hour specifically, or roughly between 2 and 4 a.m., is considered by many traditions to be the witching hour. It's a very thin time for the veil, a period when spiritual activity, downloads, and processing tend to concentrate. In a spiritual awakening, waking up during this window is extremely common and often connected to energy moving through your system that your conscious mind needs to integrate. That being said, if sleep disruption is chronic and significantly affecting your functioning, please do talk to a healthcare provider. What I'm describing is a real phenomenon, but sleep deprivation is also a real health issue, and both can be true at the same time. All right, next I want to go over 4 practical tools for winding down at the end of the day as an empath. Tool 1, an end of the day clearing practice. Before you go to sleep, take 5 minutes to consciously release what you absorb during the day. I practice this, I teach this. It's super important, and I have other videos that go through this in more detail. But essentially, you want to sit quietly, breathe slowly, and each time you exhale, say, I release what is not mine. And this gives your nervous system explicit permission to let go before sleep, rather than trying to process everything overnight. Tool 2, a body-based wind down, not a mind-based one. Most sleep hygiene advice focuses on screens and caffeine, which does matter, but for us empaths, the bigger issue is nervous system activation. So body-based practices work a little bit better. Slow breathing, gentle movement, a warm bath, progressive muscle relaxation. Something that brings you back into the physical sensation and out of brain processing mode. Tool 3, have a 3 a.m. protocol. If you wake up reliably, stop fighting it. Have a plan. Use soft light. Write in a journal. Do gentle breathing. Something grounding. Resisting the waking with frustration adds activation to an already activated nervous system. But when you work with it, even briefly, it tends to result in getting back to sleep faster. And tool 4, protect your field before you go to sleep. Set an intention. Ask your guides or your higher self to process only what serves your growth and to allow your body to genuinely rest. This might sound abstract, but it's a form of directing your own consciousness, and it works better than most people expect. If you're in a spiritual awakening and your sleep is consistently disrupted, this is your system recalibrating. New frequencies, new sensitivities, new capacities all coming online. It does settle, but it usually requires actively supporting the process rather than just trying to endure it. The practices help, the clearing helps, and understanding what's happening makes an enormous difference because fear and confusion about these symptoms tend to amplify them. If the sleep disruption is part of a bigger pattern, the sensitivity spike, the emotional waves, the sense that everything is shifting for you, you might be in your spiritual awakening. And I have a free guide in the description that covers 33 signs that your experience is real and that it has a name. And if you want a map of what's happening and what to do at each stage, the Awakening Roadmap is a 9-part self-paced course that covers exactly this, including what happens to your body and your sleep during an awakening and why. I'll put a link to both of those in the description. If this video resonated for you, please subscribe for more. If you know someone else who needs to hear about this, please share. Rest well, and I'll see you in the next video.